Hey everyone, today we're diving into an absolutely fascinating story from the Bible. The story of Abigail, a woman who, even in the midst of chaos, showed intelligence, courage, and unwavering faith that turned her into one of the most iconic figures of all time. So get comfortable, because this story is full of tension, drama, and twists that will keep you hooked from start to finish. Now picture the scene. The sun is already setting over the hills of Judea, the dry desert winds lift small clouds of dust, and there is Abigail, taking care of her home and her husband Nabal's possessions. Nabal, by the way, was not exactly the ideal husband. He was wealthy with cattle, lands, and properties, but he was known for being rude, arrogant, and extremely foolish. You know, the type who thinks money solves everything but has not a drop of sense or kindness. That was Nabal. But Abigail was different. She was beautiful, intelligent, and above all, perceptive. She knew how to act in moments of crisis, how to see beyond the surface. Then the story starts heating up. Imagine this. David, before becoming king, was still fleeing from Saul, and during this period, he led a group of brave men, loyal warriors who often needed shelter and food. David, always careful, sent some of his men to Nabal to request provisions and help. After all, Nabal was wealthy, and David and his men had protected Nabal's shepherds and flocks before. It was a fair exchange. But here comes the surprise. Nabal, as usual, reacted arrogantly. He rejected the offer, mocked David, and insulted his men. Imagine the tension. David, young and determined, hears this and his blood boils. He was not just a warrior. He was a man of honor, and being insulted in this way sparked something inside him. He planned retaliation, something that could result in bloodshed and destruction. Danger was imminent, and the outcome could be tragic. This is where Abigail steps in. And this is exactly what makes her story so incredible. As soon as she learned what had happened, she didn't hesitate. She immediately realized that her husband's pride and foolishness could cost lives. And not just innocent lives, but the safety of her entire household. She didn't wait. Abigail quickly gathered food, fresh bread, meat, wine, and valuable supplies, loaded her donkeys, and set off across the desert alone to meet David and prevent disaster. Now, let's paint this picture with details. The hot desert wind whistling in her ears, the sunset painting the sky orange and red, Abigail riding with determination, her thoughts racing as fast as the animals carrying the provisions. Every step she took was a race against fate. She had no idea how David would react, but she trusted in her own courage and discernment. When Abigail finally reached David, something magical happened. She dismounted her donkey, bowed before him, and began speaking with a wisdom and humility that made even David's heart pause. She acknowledged David's authority, his future significance, and at the same time took responsibility for her husband's folly, explaining that Nabal had no sense, but she wanted to prevent violence. What's remarkable in this scene is not just Abigail's intelligence, but the way she used words. Each sentence carefully chosen, each argument compelling, to touch David's heart. She said something along the lines of, "My lord, let your heart not be troubled because of this senseless man. God will surely bring justice, but it is not necessary for blood to be shed because of our foolishness." She balanced humility, courage, and diplomacy in a way only a brilliant mind could. And it worked. David looked at Abigail and saw more than a beautiful woman. He saw a leader, someone with vision and wisdom. He recognized that she was acting in the name of peace, and he restrained himself. That day could have ended in tragedy, but Abigail turned a potential massacre into an opportunity for mercy. When Abigail returned home, she found Nabal in the middle of a feast, drunk and unaware of everything that had happened. What happened next is history. A few days later, Nabal died, and David, recognizing Abigail's character and courage, took her as his wife. She not only saved her household, but also earned a place beside one of the greatest kings in history. But Abigail's story goes far beyond that. She wasn't just David's wife. She was a symbol of wisdom in times of crisis, courage in the face of danger, and faith in moments of uncertainty. She shows that intelligence and quick action can change destiny. She proves that sometimes it's the woman, with vision and bravery, who saves the day, not with a sword or brute force, but with discernment, eloquence, and a steadfast heart. If you stop and think about it, Abigail is one of the most powerful female figures in the Bible. She had everything against her: a foolish husband, an extremely dangerous situation, and the risk of facing armed warriors. Yet she triumphed, showing that true strength lies not in violence, but in strategy, courage, and wisdom. So folks, what's the lesson here? Abigail teaches us that true power often comes from intelligence, calm under pressure, and the ability to act rightly when everyone else is blinded by pride or anger. She reminds us that even in seemingly impossible situations, the right action can change everything. And the most impressive part? Abigail's story still resonates today. She inspires us to be brave, to think quickly, and to lead with both heart and mind in balance. She reminds us that when we act with faith and wisdom, even the most dangerous obstacles can be turned into opportunities. So next time you face a challenge that seems insurmountable, think of Abigail. Remember her courage, her wisdom, and how she used everything she had, not just strength or wealth, but intelligence and faith, to transform a life-threatening situation into a story of triumph that echoes through the centuries. And that's it, folks. If you enjoyed this journey through Abigail's story, don't forget to leave a like, comment on which part inspired you the most, and subscribe for more epic Bible stories and characters who changed the world with courage and wisdom. Until next time, and remember, even in the toughest situations, courage and intelligence can save the day.